Hey, welcome back. Chuck here at Garden Spot Acres. Today we're going to be putting together one of these Harbor Freight service carts. It's the 16 by 30 inch 3-shelf steel service cart. Supposedly has a 450 pound load capacity. We'll check that, but not with that much weight. I'm going to go ahead and unbox this and we'll see how it's packed, and we'll go ahead and put it together and see how sturdy this is when we're all finished. Let's go ahead and get this opened up and see what she looks like inside. Well, it's all packed together with this foam between the pieces. So there's one tray. I can already see a bubble right there in the paint. So the paint job doesn't look that great. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that there on the camera? It's right there. Well, it does have the foam in between all the pieces, so that keeps it from getting scratched. Yeah, their paint job's not all that great. You can see a lot of overrun up there. But I don't know. Don't expect perfection, I guess. That piece looks much better. Got the corners protected here. Harbor Freight's one of those stores that everybody says they don't go to or purchase their items, but they get their sales from somewhere. The same way as McDonald's, I think. If you read comments about McDonald's, oh, nobody eats at McDonald's. Just millions and millions a day. Well, this stuff's packed pretty well. Nice little bolt packet here. Good sized bolts and nuts and washers. Not the tiny little things that you have trouble with like an erector set. 4 casters. Oh, these are nice. Look like a non-skid surface on those. Two of them, I guess, are going to be the spinning steering casters. Ball bearings. Looks like we have 4 legs here. They make one of these with 2 shelves. I tried out the 2-shelf one at the store and it seemed pretty wobbly. This one seemed pretty good. The 3rd shelf obviously stiffens it up quite a bit. But there's all the pieces right there. Got your 4 legs. This must be a handle. 4 casters. Hardware packet. And the 3 shelves. And an instruction manual. Got everything laid out here. I'm gonna work on the tailgate of the truck. Nice sunny day. Perfect height too. Now the first thing we're gonna do here is that we're gonna attach these legs to the base shelf. And the base shelf is gonna have the 4 bolt holes in each corner for the casters. So we're gonna place that down like this. We're going to place our legs on the outside like this. Now over here in the directions, it says we're going to use a bolt, a washer, a lock washer, then the nut. Unfortunately, they don't give you any washers here, but they do give you lock washers. And I think they got rid of the washers because of the large head on the bolts here. So we're going to go ahead and use these. We're not going to put a washer on the outside because these have pretty large heads on them. Okay. And when we get to it, it's going to tell you to use the longer of these bolts here for the handle. But they don't differentiate anymore in their bolt package, long and short. They're all the same size. So when you start reading these, you're going to say, oh, they shorted me stuff. Well, they didn't short it. They just are using the same exact bolt on the entire cart here, except for the bolts for the casters, which are in this box over here. So we got a couple things here. Remember, we had the paint that was running. We have the bubbling up paint. Now our directions aren't matching here, but nothing here is a deal breaker yet. Let's see how this goes together. So we're going to feed a bolt through the hole, put a lock washer on, and then a nut. And I'm just going to hand tighten these for now. Bolt through, lock washer, and the nut. Same thing for this side. So you're going to want some play on these to get the other shelves on, so don't tighten these up too much. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the other 4 legs on, and I'll be back with you for our next shelves. Our 4 legs are all put on. Remember, don't tighten these till we're finished. Just like hand tighten them a little bit. Now I put this onto its side so we can go ahead and put the next shelves on. That's actually a suggestion over here in the directions. It says, for ease of assembly, set the cart on its side and work on 2 legs at a time. So we're going to go ahead and put it on its side like this. Let's grab a shelf down here and let's put the next shelf on. Remember, you want the dish of the shelf facing up. Okay, this is the bottom. The casters go over here. Don't put these on backwards. And that does make it easier. Now we can just go ahead and put some bolts and lock washers on here. There we go. Pop one through the side here. Can you see what we're doing in here? We're just doing the same exact thing that we did on the bottom shelf. Bolt. Lock washer. And nut. So I'm going to go ahead and put this shelf on now, and I'll be back with you after those 16 bolts are all put in. Got the middle shelf on, all 16 bolts. All I did was flip this thing over to get the bottom 4 bolts here. So we've been flipped from where we started. Now we're going to go ahead and put that top shelf on. Now you see why you didn't want to tighten these really tight. We're going to slide that in. Just like that. Now I'm going to pick this side over here to put my handle on. So when I get to these, I'm going to have to use my handle brackets. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on. Then I'll be back to you when we put the handle side on. Got windy out here, chasing my directions across the yard now. Okay, I'm to my handle end now. I can go ahead and put these two here and the bottom two here. I can put those bolts in because the handle is going to go over here on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Then we'll turn the corner and go ahead and put these in. All right, ready to put our bracket on? Now you're gonna want, let's put the bottom bracket on first. That way we can put the rod in and put the top bracket on second. You're gonna want to put it on like this. Here's the top of the cart, the top of the bracket, and those holes are gonna line up right there just like that. And we're gonna do the same exact thing. Put a bolt through, lock washer and nut on the other side. Grab the rod here, the handle, put that in. We're gonna go ahead now and put this in, and that's how that goes. Let's go ahead and get those in. Okay, we got the cart assembled. Now we gotta put the casters on the bottom. Now before we do that, this has always frustrated me and bothered me when you buy something like this you have to put together yourself. It's almost like nobody's ever done this and lost a piece. But this is the only piece that's left over from that bolt package that puts this whole shelf cart together. You have one lock washer. Don't give you an extra nut, doesn't give you an extra bolt. Heaven forbid you lose something like this and you're a homeowner somewhere and you don't have a lot of this stuff hanging around the house. And now you gotta make a trip and to go get a bolt. Okay, we're on to the casters. Now you can put these casters on two different ways. You have two swivel casters here, and they're going to be, this is coated in grease here, so you're going to get it all over your hands when you're working with this stuff. Both of those are coated pretty well. I guess they have to put some grease in the bearings, but geez, did they have to make such a mess out of it? But anyways, if you want this to act like a shopping cart, put the swivel casters in the front away from the handle. Okay, here's the handle side here. Put the swivels over on this side, far away from the handle. That's the way I'm going to go ahead and put these on. I'm going to have this thing operate like a shopping cart. Here's our hardware package for that. Let's see if they gave us anything extra here. 1, 2, 3. You got 4 casters, 4 bolts each. You got 4, 4, 4, and 4. Don't lose any of these pieces because you're going to be running to the hardware store unless you have something like this around the house or in the shop. Same thing here. The directions say you're going to have a washer to go on here, but there are no washers. Okay, got the first caster on, the swivel caster, and all I did was drop the bolt from the inside here. Lock washer, nut. Okay, pretty simple. Just put some pressure on it right there. That just holds your bolt in place. Once you get the first one started here, it's going to be pretty simple. There we go. Pop the next one in. Now my fingers are sticky from the grease, so the lock washer doesn't want to let go. There we go. Now we're working on the front casters. If you just put some weight on that bolt with the caster plate right here, it should hold that in place enough so you can start this thread. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put these other two casters on. I'll be back with you and we'll tighten everything up and we'll see how sturdy this thing is. Front two casters are on. Let's check out that hardware package, see what we have left. Nothing. Don't lose anything, because they don't give you anything extra. The whole entire hardware kit, you had one extra lock washer. That's pathetic, really. Just give you a couple extra of each one. That way you don't have to hassle with it. Again, a little goodwill goes a long way. Let's wheel this inside, and I'll go ahead and tighten everything up inside out of the wind. Casters go right over top of those bumps pretty well. Here's a hose. That's a plus. I'm gonna grab a small adjustable wrench. Everybody seems to have one of those in their homes. An adjustable wrench and a Phillips screwdriver. Let's see if a small adjustable wrench and just this screwdriver, we can tighten everything up. That way you don't have to have a bunch of tools. I could see somebody in an apartment buying one of these for a craft cart, and they wouldn't have a ton of tools. Let's go ahead and tighten everything up here. Here's a little cheapie. Forged steel. I don't know if that's made in China. The cart's made in China. Let's see if that works here. Of course, it would be easier to go get a wrench the right size. But that works just dandy. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten every bolt now. Just using these two tools. And I'll be back with you and let's do some final thoughts on this. Let's put some weight in it and see if it can actually hold what it says it can hold. I think it says 450 pound capacity. I think I saw a sticker somewhere that said that. Let's see what it says right there. Yep, 450 pounds. So that's 150 pounds a shelf. Maybe I'll put myself in the top shelf. See if it holds me. I'm 190. Well, I'll be back with you in a second. Let's get these tightened up. I'm cheating now. I grabbed a socket. These are 13 millimeters if you're curious. And these little ones were 10 millimeters. But I tightened all the top up here with just a little adjustable wrench. And these down here, I'm going to use this because I got things to do today. So we just tighten those up. And after I get these 16 nuts tightened up, I'll be back with you for some final thoughts and some a little weight test for this. Well, here we go. Supposed to be able to hold 150 pounds in each shelf. I have about 45 pounds right now on the bottom shelf with some tissue or some newsprint. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can't get in this thing without collapsing it. I can hold on to my garage door. Well, what do you think? Holding me. Well, it held me. So I guess it probably can hold 450 pounds. I wouldn't want to put any transmissions or anything on top of this thing. Well, let's give it some final thoughts. This was the Harbor Freight 3-shelf service cart. I definitely would be great. This would be great for a crafter. You know, somebody in their home. Just make sure you get the grease off those wheels. It did have the paint problems. Here's a bubbling up section right here. Kind of bugged me that they didn't have, you know, a couple extra bolts and washers and nuts. But that's pretty much typical today, I guess. Everybody's trying to cut costs. It wheels easy. Turns easy. I don't know. What do you think? I think it's pretty good. It's 70 bucks. You know, it's not heavy duty. It's not something you're going to go up. It doesn't have Matco on it or Snap-on. It's Harbor Freight U.S. General 16 by 30 inch 3-shelf steel service cart. I'm probably happy with it. You know, could it be better? Definitely. For $70? Probably not. Okay, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.